Hey, I'm Sasha, and today I'm talking a little bit more about the healing modality that I'm trained in, and also the difference between being a medium and an ancestral healing practitioner. So when people usually find out what I do, which is helping them to connect directly with ancestors, they often ask me a question like, are you getting any impressions for me? Are any messages for me coming through? Which are all good curiosities, but that's not really the work that I do. In fact, one of the really cool things about the healing modality that I'm trained in is that it helps you to come into your own power to connect directly with your ancestors. Many people who come to this work aren't actually sure that they are able to connect directly with their ancestors, and that's okay. It's often a new thing, and maybe even connecting with spirit is a new thing, and that's okay as long as you are willing and tenacious about making that connection. Me, as an ancestral healing practitioner, it's my job to guide the work and to guide you towards making that connection. It's also important to note that sometimes that connection doesn't happen right away, because what we're doing here is taking a really low and slow method of developing our skills to connect with spirit. So what I'm saying is it might take a session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions to actually build up the intuition to connect with your ancestors directly, and not to worry, because we are guided in how to help you do that. This is in contrast to a medium who you hire for them to tell you about your ancestors. So just to tease out the nuance here, when you hire a medium, they are channeling your ancestors on your behalf, and oftentimes it's like a one-off thing or a once in a while kind of thing. Whereas the work that I'm trained in is more of that slow and integrative approach to get you communicating with your wise and well ancestors, helping spirits, etc. You might even call it more of a life skill than it is just like a hobby or something. So again, you still might be thinking, but gosh, can I even do that? I have no experience channeling spirits. I have no experience communicating with spirits. Yes. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. It is a totally normal and human thing to connect with your ancestors and helping spirits. And actually, not only can you, but you should be doing that, because your ancestors are like elders for you who can guide and support and counsel your life. And they're different than other guides because they live in your blood and your bones. They are personally invested in you. And it's also my habit, before I work with other powers, deities, etc., to acknowledge my ancestors primarily, and then with them to help me connect with a deity, a power, etc. Either way, they are part of my circle of protection, helping me vet out not only what's going on in my life, but also the powers that I'm connecting with. Part of why I love doing the work that I do is because it's deep cultural repair work that helps you to, 1, strengthen your intuition. Number 2, connect with your trusted powers. And number 3, connecting directly with your people, directly with your wise and well ancestors for your own personal wellness, the wellness of your family, community, etc. We could also fold in other spirits, like the spirits of the land where you are, your ancestors of place, etc. The other thing that I'll say here is that you absolutely do not need an intermediary between you and your ancestors. You can channel and talk with them and get counsel from them directly. Now, to do that, again, you're going to need to boost your intuition. You're going to need to work with your trusted powers, etc. But just know that you are actually more able, you are more capable of connecting directly with your ancestors than a medium, because your ancestors are directly invested in you and your wellness, not the medium. This might not seem super obvious, but when you hire mediums, they're intuiting and using their intuition just like you are. And I actually believe that your ancestors are more likely to show up in a way that's super helpful if you're the one reaching out to them as opposed to working with a medium. The benefits of connecting directly with your ancestors are so great. So if you do have a little bit of a hard time making a connection at first, my message to you is just keep going, keep working, be tenacious about it. It will happen. I have never heard of somebody being tenacious about it and really going for it and not being able to connect directly with their ancestors. When you start being able to channel them directly and you are able to receive messages from your ancestors, you might have another thing that pops up in your mind, which is, am I making it all up? The truth is about working with mediums that they're using their intuition just like you are. Ultimately, it's more powerful and connective for you to have your own personal experience with your people, with your ancestors. So once you are able to channel them effectively and once you are able to receive messages from your ancestors, you might have this kind of opposite problem where you're like, am I making this all up? What is this? Etc. And that is also part of the cultural repair work. In the modern world, we often don't have good frameworks for relating with our dead or even relating with spirits. If you look to our indigenous neighbors or other cultures who have had long-standing relationships with their ancestors, land spirits, etc., you will come to find that it is not only an extremely natural thing, but also helpful for your heart, your mind, your body, your soul to be anchored and supported by those ones, by those in the spirit world. Speaking from personal experience, when I started this work, I had not communicated with spirits, like especially at this level. Like I had prayed before and done things like that, but not actually communicating, like not actually exchanging messages with spirits. And I didn't know if I could do it. And then once it started happening, I was like, oh my gosh, is this for real? Or am I kind of crazy? Or that is all normal. And it's also your way of discerning your intuition, which is important. Yeah, whenever we use our intuitive sense, we want to be discerning. And also, if that discernment is getting you in the way from receiving messages from spirit, that's not helpful, right? So there is a good balance, and an ancestral healing practitioner can help you with that balance. Now that I personally am in the habit of connecting with my people and my helping spirits on a daily basis, it seems kind of absurd to me that I would hire a medium to do that work for me, because not only am I able, but I don't even necessarily trust that the medium is actually connecting with my people and my spirits as opposed to someone else's people or someone else's spirits. So that is the other reason why it's helpful for you to have a direct experience. Right? That's why in the method I'm trained, I help you to have a direct experience and help you to trust your experience. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful or interesting, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.